Hey guys, what's up? It's me, the Otaku Fangirl, here to review the episode 5 of Bungou Stray Dogs. So this episode balanced, I feel like this episode balanced its comedy and its seriousness really well than last week's episode, because last week it was kind of weird, the comedy and the seriousness didn't really mix. But with this episode, I feel like it really did work. Okay. So to get into this episode, it's a very straightforward episode. It's not too much going on. So we get introduced to the character of Rampo Edogawa, and he has an ability called Ultra Deduction. Cool. So there is a murder case going on, and he gets called to the scene. Or he didn't really get called to the scene, he's just going to go to the scene. And, of course, Atsushi's going to go with him, so when they do, they, assess the situation, and one detective dude or whatever, he's like, oh no, we got this, we can handle this, blah, blah, blah. And Edogawa or Rampo is like, oh well, can one of your subordinates solve this case in under 60 seconds? And he points to one of the police officers who are there at the scene, Sugimoto. He's like, solve it in under 60 seconds, go. And he's like, well, blah blah blah, and he couldn't do it, obviously. So then we get to see Edogawa, Rampo, whatever, use his ability called Ultra Deduction. Also, might I mention, they pulled up Dazai out of the water because, funny moment, which it worked. It was like, this is how we're going to bring him into the scene, and it was also funny, so it just worked. The funny moments in this episode worked with the flow of the episode. It's just what I want to point out. Okay. So anyway, after they pulled up Dazai from the river and stuff, because there's a river, there's a dead woman with 3 bullet holes, or 3 bullets, wounds in her chest, whatever. And anyway, so Rampo, he uses his ability, Ultra Deduction, to figure this out just like that, and he's like also, he puts on glasses to do it, which is kind of funny, because it's like, he's a Megane character, but he's not a Megane character. Okay, so he points to the officer, Sugimoto, is like, it's you killed her, and I'm like, as he was, pointing, I was like, he's gonna point to the police officer, isn't he? And then he did, I'm like, called it. Okay, so he explains how this all went down. So apparently, this woman, she figured out some secret that the government diet member was having, or some secret with some persons. It's not really that important, honestly. And then the police officer dude, Sugimoto, was working for this guy because he failed tests to get into the police officer thing, and this guy helped him get into it, and then he didn't want that evidence to be found out, so he had to shoot the girl and all this stuff. And I'm like, alright, cool, get it. So yeah. And then after that, well, basically, he solved the case, and it was Sugimoto who shot her. And then at the end of the episode, Dazai and Atsushi and Rampo were all walking back together to the agency. Also, Rampo isn't good at directions or anything else that doesn't have to do with detective stuff. He's just not good at it. He can't remember how to use a turnstile. Atsushi was mentioning this in the beginning of the episode. He's like, he didn't know how to do this, 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 this. He doesn't know how to use the train. And I'm just like, okay. But anyway, so they were walking back to the agency or whatever, and Dazai was talking about how his ability is not a real ability. It is actually he's just really, really smart. He just figures it out. He's just like, I got this. So yeah, he thinks it's an ability, I guess, Rampo does. But no, he's not gifted at all. He doesn't have any powers. He's just really smart, I guess. So yeah. But also you find out that Sugimoto and that woman were also dating, and that made it a little bit more sad. I was like, oh, that sucks that he had to kill his own lover. Well, that's what you get for, yeah. And he went to jail, I'm sure. I'm sure this guy went to jail. So yeah, that was pretty much this episode. It was good. It wasn't anything too fantastic, it was just an enjoyable watch, and the comedy and the seriousness all mixed and flowed nicely in this episode, which I really enjoyed. I was like, this is flowing nicely with its comedy and its seriousness. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna have a recurring theme with having each character have their own little episode. It kind of looks like that because in the preview for the next episode, it looks like Kunikita is gonna do a case, and of course Dazai showed up in the preview, and I saw Atsushi very less. I saw more Dazai than I did of Atsushi in the preview for the next episode. And yeah, the next episode looks like it'll be interesting. Atugawa looks like he's gonna show up, the guy with the red black power thing, I don't remember what that was called. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting, and that's all I got to say. So I will see you guys in my next review. Okay? Bye!